Even like I'm wondering what the relationship is between the potential ET encounters and the DMT, the spirit molecule. 'Cause even Rick Strassman in his work and in his book and whatnot, he never expected to find this out or to to make this connection when he started his research. But after all of the experiences and the studies and the reports that the participants had, after he gave 400 or 500 doses of DMT out, he started to make this connection of like, when people have like spontaneous UFO encounters and they're reporting that they were abducted into ships, or they did experiments on them, or the ETs put something in their arm or their body or something like this. Anal probes, because that's always a common story. It's like, how much of that actually physically happened and how much of it was like from this higher dimension, did the alien or the the other species or otherworldly being or whatever to kind of facilitate it inside the experience of that person through the DMT. And it might be something similar, like if you have this experience of an entity like stepping into your, phasing into your room, it might be just that they're not physical, but you can see them because there is this activation of DMT within your mind. And that is like the exact same experience, as the near-death experience, as the DMT trip, as the other, ayahuasca, but it's happening very spontaneously and maybe in relationship to this other being that's kind of coming into your field. And that actually stimulates the DMT in the first place.
Yeah. I would, I love that concept, but there's a couple holes in it because a lot of people would negate the UFO experiences or ghost or whatever it is to being just DMT being released. Joe Rogan being one of them, very much a skeptic at this point, but somebody who is for plant medicine. So when the thing about it is like when you have multiple people having that same encounter, I can see like if it was just me and DMT was releasing, oh, there's a UFO. And so versus a group of people looking up and seeing the UFO. I had an encounter that would have easily been able to explain away. I don't know if I told you, I stole from a warlock when I was a teenager. I stole from a bunch of people, but I stole from this guy who was really deep in magic, and he had a protection spell on his belongings, and the entity came to collect, got his stuff and brought it back, which was through another person to know who got it. All these witches went to the back and did this ritual on me. And me and my cousin left this house where all these people were. And we go stay with my girlfriend. We get dropped off down the street from a house, and we're standing at the edge of the bushes getting ready to run to her treehouse to spend the night. We didn't want to be caught. Sun was starting to go down, go around the edge of the bushes, and out of nowhere, this big entity appears. It's an 8-foot tall, it looks like a camel. And it runs past me and my cousin. Both it screams and knocks us both down on the ground, screams, and then disappears in the thin air. It was darker than the blackest of night. Scared the hell out of us. We just ran into these warlocks and pissed them off. They put a spell on us. They knew how to do elemental magic and summon entities. And so if that was to happen just to me, I could easily explain it away. I tripped. It was a shadow. I don't know what it was. But when you have the fact that my cousin was there and we both had this happen, knock both of us down, was like a testament, like, hey, something happened and we both experienced this together, versus like, oh, maybe you caught a contact buzz off of the weed that was there or whatever was going on, like, or you were drinking. McKenna said this, and this was the interesting thing. Terrence McKenna said, talking about UFOs, he says that the difference that we have in the drug community that you and the UFO community don't have is that he was touting, we have repeatability. We can take a hit of LSD, we can do magic mushrooms, ayahuasca, and we can go meet with these entities. You and the UFO were just kind of like spur of the moment, it happened. Well, the difference is, again, you're talking about they never seen where we are today. The CE5 initiative is the repeatability. Is to go out and make contact. And it is our repeatability that wasn't going on when McKenna was around. So that's the interesting thing with it. So there are these different ways that people are connecting with these entities on the other side. And especially the beings of love and light and those kind of things, which we champion, we tell other people, and they do it and repeat it, and it works.
Yeah. Wow. Man, okay, hold on. I have to go back a bit. There was something that I really wanted to ask you about all of this. Oh, yes. Okay. So I wanted to clarify actually first, regarding the DMT thing, because I spoke about the DMT as if it's like, oh, DMT is released, you see this entity or whatnot. But my experience of and also all the research that I've done, reading DMT, the spirit molecule, going to all these ayahuasca ceremonies and stuff like that, has shown me that what I feel is in my heart and my knowing and everything, is that the DMT is just like a biological pair of glasses that allows you to perceive other dimensions. So it's not like it's, because even there's a lot of scientists doing research today that suggests, and putting out theories that suggest, that your thoughts, your feelings are a morphinogenic field that expands beyond you, right? So when I'm saying, like, you have this DMT in your brain and then you're seeing this alien, it's not like it's just all this little inside of your head projector. Even Rick Strassman in DMT, the spirit molecule, he was like, there's no way that I can quantify that this is all inside of your brain. Like the experiences that people are having, like this, and this recurring thing of meeting these aliens or having these things, it's like, I just don't see how that could be like some subconscious childhood trauma playing out in it just doesn't make sense. So the DMT, when that's released, and however it's released, whether it's through an injection or you smoke it, or you're having a near-death experience, or you're dreaming, or maybe it's an ET encounter of some kind, I feel are all just like your body, your brain, your mind putting on these sort of psychic glasses for a moment, and suddenly you're like perceiving the other dimensional realities that are around you. So if you're seeing an alien that, phases into your room, and maybe he's not physical, but you can still see him, like, it's just because those glasses are on, you can perceive that he's there or she's there, or this being is, appearing into your reality. But it's very interesting to hear you say that Joe Rogan is a skeptic, that DMT is, that is, all inside of your head. I've never heard that from him before, but I do hear him talk about it a lot.
Linking the UFO thing, that people, it's these backwoods people in Alabama, but hey, that's where I am, who are having these UFO encounters. And he was just saying how there's really no proof and stuff. And so that they could have just got a release of DMT that facilitates some type of magical dream-like experience where you thought you saw a ghost, or you saw Aunt Shirley or whatever, or a UFO. So I think, again, when it's a collective of people having those experiences, whether it is a ghost, whatever it may be, that more people see it, I think it adds to the validity. And but no, I'm with you. There's something that happens, whether it's before or after, whether you position yourself to do Kundalini yoga, to do breath work, to raise your vibration, which in turns stimulates the third eye, pineal gland, to release DMT, to go into that dream state. We're literally hacking the dream state, right? Where all of this stuff happens in the imagination. We're hacking it. We're using it as goggles, if you will. Like you said, there's a lot of movies that would talk about, once you have these goggles, put them on, and you can see in the spirit, you can see things that aren't there. I very much believe in that. So whether you are doing that work, facilitating a deep meditation, that you started and they came and said hello because they knew you were doing that, or they were there, and because of their art field or whatever it is, kind of like spark that in you, or give you that DMT release that now you can see them because they're there. However it works, I think there's some validity to that, being able to see them and communicate. Whether it's just a passerby that you just, it's definitely like your body is in tune to pick up on those frequencies. Like there's a reason why when there's an entity, a ghost or something resonates with your spirit, that the hairs on your arms stand up and the hairs on the back of your neck. You are a spirit antenna. Your hair, like it is an extension of your central nervous system, and you can tell when they're around. The energy shifts, the room gets cold. You can tell when they're around. So even that, there are different ways to know, like, hey, synchronicities, whatever it is, and ask, step out. Is there something here? Everybody asks, like they asked me, they have all these questions about beings in the middle of the night. And I heard this noise and something's calling my name in the middle of the night. What do I do? What is it? Is it this? You got to ask it. I can't tell you what it is, but it's up to you to facilitate and say, hey, what's your name? There's a story in the Bible where Samuel was being woke up every night by somebody yelling his name. He thought that it was the prophet Eli, I believe it was, in the next room. He's like, what do you want? He's like, I didn't call you. You're calling me. He goes back to bed. He calls his name. What do you want? Why are you calling my name? It's like, listen, next time you hear it, say, hey, who is it? What is it? And so it was God trying to get his attention and was giving him dreams and stuff. And he was literally hearing his name called. I mean, that's the Bible. We want to negate that. But listen, that stuff still happens today. You're about to fall asleep and somebody yells your name. What the hell? Like, I've totally had that. So it's up to you to facilitate that. Yes? Hello? People waking up at 3:33. Like, all in the morning. Like, what do? Do you go back to sleep? Intercessory prayer. They believe, and the Christian mystics believe that the veil between the spirit world and our reality is very thin. It's called the witching hour. You know this. And so there's times that they believe that the Christians would believe that God was calling them to pray for people and put things on their hearts, that there was more, that they were almost closer to God, or that God would hear their prayers more, or the angels or whatever. And so it's interesting, but the sacred text, the Bible, for me, that's, my book that I've tore up. I studied that thing. All of these things are in there. The hair on the arm standing up, I got that from the Bible, and in my own life of waking up and an entity being in the room. But I'm reading the Bible, and again, these things that nobody would ever share from the pulpit are talking about waking up and seeing a ghost at the edge of your bed, telepathically communicating a message to you. That's in the Bible. And now when we talk about it, we're said, oh, you're New Agers, or it's demonic, don't listen. It wasn't demonic when they did it. Or why is it demonic when we do it? So taking back our birthright, and these stories, man, are there for a reason. And it echoes not just the scriptures, through all of the ancient cultures as well.